Okay, so we're getting back to it. We're going to do a quick review of yesterday's reading, which I think we still more or less remember. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, then I'm going to read it in Latin. So, Avot de Rabbi Nathane, Perek Aleph. Moshe nitkadesh ba'anan, v'kibel Torah misinai, shene'emar, v'yishkon kavod Hashem al har Sinai, leMoshe. L'ta'aro ze haya achar aseret hadibrot. And so, Rabbi Yossi HaGalili, v'Rabbi Akiva Omer, ויחסהו הענן ששת ימים למשה. I'm skipping everything in the brackets since it really does seem like that should be redacted. ויקרא אל משה ביום השביעי מתוך הענן לחלוק לו כבוד למשה. So Moshe was sanctified in a cloud, and he received the Torah from Mount Sinai. As it is said, the glory of God dwelled on the mountain of Sinai for Moshe, to purify him. This was after the Ten Commandments. Rabbi Yossi HaGalili and Rabbi Akiva say that the cloud covered him for 6 days. Covered Moshe specifically, and that God called to Moshe on the 7th day from within the cloud to give honor to Moshe. Okay, so he called him from within the cloud to give honor. Okay, now we're continuing. Amar Rabbi Nathane, mipnei ma nit'akev Moshe kol sheshet yamim velo sara alav dibur. Rabbi Nathane said, why was Moshe delayed all these 6 days and the word did not rest on him? Why didn't he prophesy? Bishvil sheyimarek mikol achila v'shtiya shehaya b'ma'av ad sha'a shenitkadesh v'yehei k'malchei hasharet, so that he can be purified from all the food and the drink that were in his intestines, until the hour that he is sanctified, and he would be like a ministering angel. He would be like the ministering angels. Amar le Rabbi Matya ben Charesh, Rabotenu lo amru ella la'ayem alav. Rabbi Matya ben Charesh said to him that our rabbis did not said that this was simply to frighten him, to intimidate him. Kedei shikabel alav divrei Torah, so that he would accept upon himself the words of the Torah. Be'ema, bi'ira, baretet, uvziyah. He would receive this in fear and terror and in shaking and in awe. Shene'emar, as it is said, Avdu et Hashem be'ira v'gilu b'ra'adah. It's written in the Psalms, that in the second Psalm, that you should serve God in fear and rejoice in terror and shaking. Right? Okay. Right. Is that more or less where you finished? Because I don't know if we really read further. Yeah, I think we finished there. So that's the whole Hebrew of everything that we read. Tractatus de Patribus Rabbi Nathane Autore. So now capitulum unum. I hope capitulum unum is how I should be pronouncing this bit here. So now we're going to read the Latin. Okay. Moses in nube sanctificatus fuit et legem e Sinai accepit. Sicut dictum est. Et mansit gloria Hashem super montem Sinai. Super Mosen ad purificandum eum. Hoc fuit post mandata accepita. Rabbi Jose Galileus et Rabbi Akiba dicit. Et texit eum nube 6 dies. Mosen sicut dicitur. Et inclamavit Mosen die septimo e medio nubis. Ut Mosi gloriam impertiret. Dixit Rabbi Nathane, quare moratus est Moses 6 dies? Priusquam idum alloqui incepit Deus. So here I'm just going to pause because I'm trying to remember exactly what all of this meant. Rabbi Nathane asked, why was Moses delayed 6 days? And then priusquam, I'm going to quickly check something. If I just pull up all these and I open them in preview, and then I can flip through all the words we saw yesterday. I'm just trying to recall. Priusquam, before, until. So we said priusquam right, before God started speaking to him. Before God started to speak to him. And allocor means to speak to, address. But what was the exact form of alloqui exactly? Present active infinitive of allocor. Yeah, so it really is, he started to speak. So that's an interesting infinitive. Okay, very good. So that more or less answers our question. Let's continue. Eo fine, ut abstergeretur ab omni cibo et potu, qui fuit in visceribus eius usque. So, eo fine, in the end, like for the end, for the goal of polishing, purifying from all the food and the drink that was in his intestines, usque. Usque, I believe we translated as until as well. Jusque in French is the cognate. So until, all the way up until, right? Okay. Ad orem illam in qua sanctificatus fuit et esset sicut angeli ministerii. Okay, so we're all caught up. This is no, a little further, sorry. We have to go a little further in Latin. Respondit illis Rabbi Nathane filius Cerestri doctores nostri hoc non dixerunt, sed ad terendum eum hoc factum fuit, ut in se reciperit verba legis in tremore et timore, in consternatione et commotione sicut dicitur, et servite Hashem in timore et exultate cum tremore. Right. So it's interesting because this phrase, Doctores nostri hoc non dixerunt, sed ad terendum eum hoc factum fuit, right? So, non dixerunt sed ad. So I wonder if that's a common phrase. I realized that last time I did not read this in Latin. But yeah, let's stick with the convention established before. Which is red, highlights a phrase that we can translate, but which gives us pause. This is a strange expression for Latin, though not strange for Hebrew, or it's what I consider to be strange for Latin. It may not be, but okay. So, but right. Reciperit verba legis in tremore, timore, right? So, yeah. It's a pretty direct translation. Now, terendum eum hoc factum fuit. It was done this for terrifying him. Terendum looks like a gerundive. It's a participle. It's simply the inflection of terendus, which is the gerundive. So it is the gerundive, okay. Look, the logic of this is not extremely clear to me, but I'm just going to keep going because obviously with the Hebrew, it's clear what this says. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we can advance. Ma'aseh she'ira beRabbi Ya'ashia v'Rabbi Matya ben Haresh she'ayu shnehem yoshvim ve'oskin b'divrei Torah. It's a story that happened to Rabbi Ya'ashia v'Rabbi Matya ben Haresh that were both of them sitting and involving themselves in the words of Torah. So first of all, I recently learned this word, but I might as well mark it as a word I did not know. This word here, which I believe is the Aramaic equivalent of kara, happened. So, a story that happened to these two rabbis while they were sitting and discussing Torah. And if I just type in here, Aleph, Resh Ayin, I believe I will get what I'm looking for. Related to happening events, right? Hebrew terms belongs to this? Irua. Irua. What a nice little discovery. I'd love to note this. Irua function. Ofek Eruim. Is that like a party planner? No? Event horizon. Okay. I'm going to send that to my wife. She probably doesn't... You know, all these scientific terms in Hebrew that are, you know, they don't say event horizon. It's a technical term. It's a translation into the language. It's usually, it's nice. It's nice when they do that, when they don't depend on imports from other languages. Anyway. Okay. So they were talking divrei Torah, right? They were talking words of Torah. Perish Rabbi Yaasia Lederech Eretz. Amar le Rabbi Matya ben Charesh Rabbi Malecha La'azov divrei Elokim Chaim V'lishtof b'derech Eretz. ואף על פי שאתה רבי ואני תלמידך, אין טוב לעזוב דברי אלוקים חיים ולשטוף בדרך ארץ. So, Rabbi Yaasia interpreted something in terms of, for like in derech eretz, which is like, let's say, politeness or ways of the world, maybe something related, you know, just worldly affairs. He made a worldly comment while discussing a holy thing. So Rabbi Matya said to him, Rabbi Matya ben Charesh said to him, my rabbi, my teacher, what is with you? Why did you abandon the words of the living God? Velishtof. To like partner or to embark on. Let's see if we can find a better translation than that. It looks like shotfim, like partners, although perhaps that's written with a tav. So maybe I don't know this shorish example, this shorish exactly. So let's type in shin tet vav pesofit. Yeah, shituf is like, of course, that's to wash, like wash dishes in modern Hebrew. Let's look what, unfortunately the Evan Shoshan gives us the same. Shtifa, shfichat mayim al etzem o al guf. Okay. Doesn't help. In order to wash? No. There must be a different meaning to this word. What's the C also give us? Lol. It gave us a dirty word in Yiddish. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. Velishtof b'derech eretz. Okay, and to involve yourself in worldly affairs. And even though, v'afal pi, and even though that you are my teacher, and I am your student, it is not good to abandon the words of the living God and to involve oneself in the ways of the world and worldly affairs. Okay? Right? If you're talking about a holy thing, it's not a good thing to just switch subjects like that. Continuing. Amru kolzman sheyoshvin veoskin b'toira hayu osin mikna'in ze leze. They said that all the time that you were sitting and learning Torah, they were doing mikanin. that they were jealous of one another? What could this mean? Mekaneh. But that's mekaneh with a hey, not with an aleph. No, sorry. Jealousy is definitely with an aleph at the end. Kina. Okay, so I have no idea. Why were they jealous of each other while learning? Weird. Ukeshin niftarin domin keshehen oavim minuarehem. And when they die, they look as if they loved from their childhood. I don't know how to interpret that. I really hope the Latin helps. That's why we're doing this. It's a fun way to read. Okay. Res quae fuerat inter Rabbi Josia. Et Rabbi Matia, filium Kerestri. So Kerestri is how they're doing Haresh, huh? Okay. They added a tree at the end, but whatever. Quando uterque manebat et operabatur in verbis legis, when they were both, uterque, when they were both, manebat, sitting, that's the same as manzit in the quote from the Bible above, from Exodus 24:16. Just want to verify quickly though that manebat, that's the imperfect, huh? That's the third person singular imperfect, Now, that's actually interesting because Shayu Shnehem Yoshvim Voskin B'divrei Torah, these are plurals. And not only are they plural, but they're also present tense. In the Latin, we're saying when both of them manebated, right? But is it possible that uterque could be a singular pronoun? Both were, but both is. Is that how it works? Nominative masculine singular pronominal. Wow. Yeah, okay, so the question about the number is answered by the fact that uterque is a singular pronoun, but the question of tense still stands. The tense in the Hebrew is present, or you can say present participle if you want to be pedantic, whereas in the Latin it is imperfect. Operabatur is similarly imperfect. Singular imperfect active indicative. Operor, I work, labor. It is deponent. Yeah, for sure. Okay. You know, I might as well mark this because although it's easy to recognize, the fact that it's deponent, well, it's just interesting. In verbis legis, right? So they were sitting, and they were involved, and they were laboring in the words of the law. Interpretatio Rabbi Iosia fuit juxta, viam terra. Now, the interpretation of Rabbi Yosef was juxta. So how do I translate that? Juxta? Close to, adjoining, like, according to. Right, okay, so let's say according to, plus accusative, right? Viam terra, the way of the world. And there's a note here. Omnia ad mores gentium, all concerning mores, I guess the customs of man. The ways of man, customs, yeah. Et mercimonia commodavit. So these are two absolutely new words, which I'd like to know. Huh. Okay, well, we just learned something, which is that what? Okay, I'm off that page. Now I'm on this page. Please give me a rectangle here. Perfect. Mercimonia. What is that? Mercimonium. Goods, wares, merchandise. Right, so he started talking about worldly affairs. It's not great. Second word, accommodavit. Well, accommodo, I guess, is just accommodate. That's not a mystery. So why did they use the singular perfect active indicative there? Okay, who cares? We get it. We don't need to use a second box for this. Dixit et Rabbi Mattia, filius Cerestri, Rabbi quid tibi evenit. Rabbi, what happened to you? Quod verba Dei viventis reliqueris, that you leave the words of the living God. Et via terrae obrutus fis. Obrutus. Okay, so so it means overwhelmed. Stoff. How's that obrutus? Obrutus is used again at the end. Obruī. Okay. Changing up the style a little bit. Okay, cool. At least I don't need that stupid dash pattern because it really is dumb. Okay, obruī. Bury, conceal. Bonum non est verba Dei viventis relinquere, et via terrae obruī. So obruī looks like, again, an infinitive, right? And so perfect. Bury them with the ways of the world? Okay. Dicunt autem quam Dio in lege manserent et operati fuerint, aemulationem eos in se in vicem exercuisse, et cum ab eos studio dimissi fuerint, ac via pueritia se in vicem amassent, aliis visos fuisse. Okay. כל זמן שיושבים, quod quam Dio in lege manserent, et operati fuerent, right? In lege manserent and operati fuerent, that's weird. Yoshvin, not in lege. You don't stay in the law. So what were they doing? They were jealous of each other? Aemulationem eos in se in vicem exercice. They seemed. Aliis. One another. Very interesting, very curious. All right, well, we're at the end here, and we read it in Hebrew and in Latin, so I think this is a good stopping point, although it's only been 37 minutes, so let's get back to it another day.